How's it going, fellow traders? It's Magic Trader here, and this is the CFTC report for the data that was collected on December 10th, 2019. Here is a brief snapshot of the positions held by the institutions as of that date. And so let's start by taking a look at gold. We've been tracking gold quite closely for some time now, and we've noticed that back here in August, September, institutions were heavily long, I should say, with their long positions. Heavily positioned with their long positions at 370,000. That was the max in September, and that came as price was hitting supply. Okay, now we know that at supply, that's when they will take positions either to the short side or take profits on longs, and that's what they did. They took profits on those longs, and we can see a steady decrease in those long positions up until this last week's data, showing positions at 329,000. Now, if you take a look at shorts, you can see back in September they were at 57,000, and this last week's data, 58,000. So they're obviously not piling in to short positions. What they've been doing is focusing on taking profits with their longs. Now, here's the thing. Price has since dropped from that monthly supply, and now it is hitting a demand zone on the monthly chart. So now we're seeing this stalling price action, okay, where price is just not moving further lower and it's just stalling, and you can see that happening here on the weekly chart. So it's difficult to determine exactly where price is going to go now, because we have two forces in play that are keeping price within this range. So we are waiting for new pressure to come in, either to the downside or to the upside, for us to determine what is likely going to happen in the weeks and months to come. At this stage, we're waiting. We've exited our short positions. We got in right at the very top, and we got out right down here. So some nice profits on that on those short positions that we had. And now we're just waiting to see what's going to happen to re-engage at a further time. Okay, let's go take a look at oil. Oil. We see a big increase in longs. Now, what have I been saying in the Arujo report? I've been saying that we found strong evidence to suggest that over time price is going to go higher. And so with this evidence that has come forth, we are expecting to see a reaccumulation of a long position. And so when you take a look at the data, coming back all the way from here, you can see low 500s, low 500s, mid 500s, and now we're near the high 500s, okay, 577,000 long positions. And the coloration of the cells for shorts cooled off, so they're not focusing on shorts right now. Instead, we see longs are starting to become aggressive, and with that, long exposure jumps up to 88%, and again, net positions up as well. Positive 428,000 to now a positive 495,000. Now, you can obviously see that we're going to have a big obstacle that will need to be removed should price head higher. But that also suggests that there is room for a move up until that area. So all this would have to be taken out. I believe we're likely going to see reaction from this area here, like this, and then to the downside before we see something like that take place. But it's definitely in the works, at least in terms of the positions so far. Okay, now we take a look at the US dollar. US dollar hits supply. We see that longs are cooled off right now. We also see that, or I should say neutral, shorts are the ones that are cooled off at this time. But long exposure has since dropped since the supply has been hit from 86% to 78%, and you can see a slight tinge of blue in the coloration here, meaning they're becoming a little bit more neutral with their position. Okay, so price came down into this area of demand, has since reacted. We got an ascending trend line, so there's a lot of obstacles. If price was to go like this, we'd have to get through those obstacles first. So we are watching for that. Next, we look at the Aussie, and we can see that shorts were becoming a little bit more aggressive, and that's because of the drop that we got in price, and now we see them taking profits as price was rallying up. Longs were becoming a little bit aggressive, and then they took profits on those long positions on that rally up again. So what do we see taking place here? I think there's a very good possibility we see a rally in price, and if that does take place, we would suggest that you should watch the shorts, because I believe they'll likely be reducing them even further, and then also long positions. We might start seeing them increase those longs. So that's what we're watching for in terms of their positions to verify whether or not this move is going to eventually take place. The US CAD supply is holding very well. Okay, price was consolidating before the drop, and we see they reduced their shorts from 64,000 to 55,000. But take a look at longs. Okay, 34,000. That's very cooled off. They were cooled off here, and now again entering into cooled off territory. So shorts are the more aggressive, and that suggests a move even lower. I do think that's likely going to take place with the current dynamics on the charts. Okay, and then we look at the US Swiss franc, and we see that longs were aggressive, but they took massive profits on long positions right as price was dropping, and they also closed off some shorts, reducing them from 15,000 to 10,000. Right now, long exposure is sitting at 75%, and net positions are slightly down, but still in the positive. Once again, looking at market dynamics, they do suggest a drop is likely. We do have demand here, so some bounce would be expected, but I think over the longer period of time, I think it's likely we see more of a drop at this stage than a rally. Okay, now we go to the Euro US dollar. This one's been neutral for so long, hard to try to determine what is going to take place with price, but we see, hardly any movement here on both shorts and longs. Long exposure sits roughly the same, or pretty much at the same. Net positions just slightly lower. We got the descending trend line still holding price, so that would have to be taken out first before we see any type of a move like this to the upside. But that's what we're watching for. Next, we have the pound US dollar. And what do we see here? A big increase in longs. No shock here with the big rally in price. And slightly decreasing of short positions. But look at the coloration here. Okay, neutral. That means not a good time to be entering in positions, especially after a reaction from supply here, which is going to cause price to drop. And we've seen that in the markets. So net position still somewhat negative, but look where we were at when price was down here, and they were taking profits on shorts, which has since fueled that move to the upside. So I think there's a likelihood we're going to see more highs, but a period of retracement is likely going to happen, especially with supply coming into play. So we're watching for that drop and then a reaccumulation of a long for a bigger push to the upside like that. Next, we have the US dollar Japanese yen, and on this one we see longs were at 96. They dropped it down to 85. They also closed off some shorts. Colorations of the sell is blue, slightly positive. Okay, we had positive here, negative, and now back to into the positive. We're sitting at that trend line. Market dynamics suggest we see a price the price move even higher, so we are watching for that. And especially with longs taking charge here, if they start to increase it, we can see this trend line break and a push even higher. Last but not least, we got the Kiwi dollar, and we see that they've been reducing their shorts and a big rally, so that makes sense. Reducing shorts, when you close off shorts, it causes price to rally. Now we're at the descending trend line, just like we have on many other pairs. I think we're likely to see price head even higher, So we are watching to see if they are going to start in an accumulation of long positions to take advantage of this move to the upside. So we're watching for that, and until this trend line breaks, we can't assume that's going to happen. But once it breaks, we have supply, and it can continue going higher like that. Okay, that's your Forex, your CFTC analysis for the data released on December 10th, 2019. If you have any questions, you can reach us at www.whiteoakfx.com. Thanks and have a great day.